Ah, Los Angeles. City of angels, city of lights, city of dreams. That's the Los Angeles that Los Angeles has sold for 100 years. But for the most part, those lovely sentiments apply to the peripheries of Los Angeles, the beaches, the studios, the parks. Downtown Los Angeles is, by contrast, a sad, sad place. A center of failed city planning, a magnet for the disadvantaged, a place where if there was a bad decision to be made in terms of making it a living, breathing city center, that decision has not only been made, but magnified like a grotesque carbuncle face on a 40-foot-high movie screen. Ground zero for awful LA is Bunker Hill, a once fashionable neighborhood that fell into hard times and in the 1960s was bulldozed flat when really a nice coat of paint would have done the job. For years, the sole notable landmark on this poor pedestal was the Los Angeles Bonaventure Hotel. Indeed, most Los Angelinos thought of Bunker Hill as the obstacle through which they punched a tunnel, most notable for its use in millions of movies and TV shows. Today, the sole reminder of Bunker Hill's glory days is the Angel Flight funicular. But call ahead. In the years of walking past this spot, I've yet to see it open. At the far end of Bunker Hill, you'll find LA's version of Lincoln Center, the Los Angeles Performing Arts Center. Although the original 1960s sensibilities have not aged well, the sole bright spot up here is the Walt Disney Concert Hall, a shiny, fanciful Frank Gehry creation that resembles a metallic bow glistening in the Southern California sun. Here you can sit on the front steps and gaze down at one of LA's other enduring landmarks, a building that for years was the visual signature of the city. The LA City Hall is one of the most famous buildings in all of LA, but we all really know it's the headquarters of the Daily Planet from the Superman series in the 1950s. Great Caesar's ghost. So far we've seen pretty bad LA, but the truly hideous LA, the mother lode of LA awfulness, lies just ahead. Head down from Bunker Hill, walk halfway across the Highway 101 overpass, and you can feast your eyes on one of the truly awful architectural spectacles on Earth, a true heavyweight battle of terrible titans. In this corner, the Los Angeles Design Center, resembling Godzilla in the form of Lego blocks, and in this corner, the Cathedral of Our Lady of the Angels, a house of worship in the form of a nuclear reactor containment building. You might expect a church to openly welcome visitors, embracing all as they approach. Yeah, you'd expect that. But if you start at the wrong end of the cathedral property, you must first follow a long, forbidding metal fence before you finally stumble upon the compound's entrance. The courtyard is dominated by the design center across the highway, which seems to be offering a Nazi salute to visitors. To the left of the church itself, you'll find the entrance, which more resembles the entryway to a mall than a house of worship. Above the door, Mary teeters on a ledge, as if ready to jump. Don't do it, Mary! Things can't be that bad. Well, maybe they can. As your eyes adjust to the dank interior, you'll find yourself shuffling along a long, dark hallway past a baptismal font that features a painting who bears a striking resemblance to Cat Stevens. The sanctuary itself is impressive for its sheer size, and when the organ is playing, the cathedral does rather feel church-like. On the other hand, those oversized paintings of saints marching toward the altar are a little intimidating. I was relieved to find one minor element of whimsy in all this overbearing architecture, light fixtures in the form of tiny winged angels, almost fairy-like in their delicate depiction. That was, of course, almost immediately negated when I turned a corner and found this absolutely horrifying altar of skulls. I stood there for a minute, waiting for someone to sacrifice a chicken. It would be a relief to emerge back into the sunlight after a visit to Our Lady of the Angels, if not for the building's monstrous exterior. Stand too close and you get the distinct feeling that those walls are about to tumble down upon you. As awful as the cathedral is, at least it did not rudely force its way upon the city in place of something that was absolutely wonderful. Pershing Square, a palm-treed oasis in mid-20th century Los Angeles, was one of the nation's great city parks, perfectly scaled to the rising buildings around it. But Los Angeles' insatiable hunger for parking spaces caused LA's city fathers to dig up the park, plant a parking garage in the space, and pave it over with what is one of the truly horrendous urban park landscapes in the United States, if not the world. Bright yellows and dark blues give the impression that the park was designed by Cub Scouts, and the space is punctuated by large orange balls, which may represent California oranges, or perhaps they're just big orange balls. And as the park's centerpiece is a towering, tower, and nestled at its apex is, surprise, a big orange ball. In the winter, one end of Pershing Square is occupied by an ice skating rink, which is clearly not suffering from overuse. Almost no one ventures behind that skate house, though, which is too bad. because they're missing out on one of awful LA's most truly awful spots. Tucked in here, all but hidden from view, is a statue gallery that bears witness to Pershing Square's namesake, World War I hero John J. Pershing, who rolled over the Kaiser's troops because he was, apparently, a large orange ball. There's also a statue of a World War I doughboy and, oddly, one of Ludwig van Beethoven. If you're wondering why Beethoven is scowling so much, perhaps it's because this little row of statues is hard up against Pershing Square's doggy doo-doo park. With the skate house blocking all air circulation back here, the smell would be enough to make Bob Barker swear off dogs forever. Luckily, the blight that is Pershing Square has not made its way across South Olive Street to the Millennium Biltmore Hotel, one of the nation's truly grand establishments. A few feet from the profound tastelessness of Pershing Square, you'll be swept into the good taste and timeless style of another age, the hotel's Rendezvous Court. We'll head back to the vicinity of Bunker Hill, going around rather than over or through it, and make a final stop at one other Los Angeles landmark that has somehow managed to largely avoid the city's march to awfulness. The Los Angeles City Library's main branch, built in 1926 to resemble an Egyptian temple, is a jewel box of perfection inside and out. The large central rotunda is one of the great rooms in the whole country, highlighted by a globe chandelier with 48 lights, one for each state of the Union in 1926, and 4 large murals depicting chapters in California history. The paintings have a distinctive Works Progress Administration look about them, and there seems to be an inordinate amount of kneeling on the part of the indigenous people going on, but that's absolutely as bad as it gets in this quiet refuge from the real awfulness outside. The folks at the library even found an imaginative way to use the room's old card file cabinets. Now they're tiny little plaques honoring donors. Just off the rotunda is a gallery dedicated to Hollywood. You'll find changing exhibits of photos, paintings, and movie posters from the movie's golden era. Much as we'd like to, we can't stay in here forever, so we head past the giant hand with a flaming torch and head outside to a park that was added to the library during a renovation several years ago. It's a pleasant enough spot with trees and tables and a splashing fountain, apparently celebrating waterboarding. Now that's awful.